Hey guys, Tyler Erzberger here with ESPN Esports. I'm joined by McGravy in Dallas, having just beaten Dallas Fuel in their first game. So, we had you pretty low in our Overwatch League power rankings. Many publications had the Valiant very low in their preseason power rankings. What do you want to say to those people who, including ourselves, who ranked you at the bottom of the barrel?
It feels good to get a win and prove everybody wrong. I was saying earlier to some other people, it's one good team is better than 6 good players, and I think that's the biggest thing. That's the big difference maker for us, and get that win.
When did you really realize this team was more than a bottom of the barrel team, a budget team, so to speak? Was it from the beginning? Did you think you could be better than you were, or was it a thing of like, oh wow, this team really functions well in scrims?
Mm-hmm. I think everybody on the team at the very beginning was like, is this going to work? But I think once we picked up Gig and KSP was the big difference maker, and once we got them integrated into the team, and once you realize just how good KSP is a Widow and like Hitscan, it's like, okay, this team can go really far. We have like the star player to build around, and I think that's kind of the moment everybody started, buying into the system.
How is it, being in Dallas? Because I was here last year and here today. The Dallas fans are ravenous. They love the Fuel. Very hard place to play in, obviously. Booze and you're the enemy. How is it, playing against, a home crowd in, this big moment?
I think for a lot of people it could affect them negatively, but I think for most of our team it affected us positively. I think just the energy in the crowd helps us get us amped up and ready for the game. I live for the booze, honestly. Like, I think it's enjoyable. I'm glad everyone's so passionate, that they don't like us that much, and I think that's a great thing.
Obviously, LA, there's the rivalry between you and the Gladiators. The Gladiators, big roster moves. They got Space, they got OG, they got, these big name players. Valiant, went, the scouting route, the savvier route. You guys are 1-0. The Gladiators are 0-1. Is there anything you want to say to the Gladiators?
I think Gladiators played a tough opponent. I still respect the Gladiators a lot. I have a lot of friends on that team, but it's a better for LA, so it's gonna be ruthless. We're always gonna be gunning for them. It's always gonna be an intense match.
Just talking about a little bit about practice, obviously, you guys, there was rumors of how you guys were doing well in scrims, like Custa, especially, on various channels and podcasts. We're like, oh, the Valiant are actually really good. They're doing well in scrims. Push them up, push them up, push them up. Other than yourselves, what other teams have surprised you in scrims or having watched them play? What other teams do you think should be looking at as surprise picks this year?
I think the biggest team that we saw in the games today was Spitfire, and I think coming into the scrims, I think Spitfire is a team that surprised even us. Like they kind of went the same route. They kind of went the scouting, the rookie, less known players route. So when they came out and they took that first map off Nixel, everyone's like, what's going on? So I definitely think Spitfire is a team to look out for.
Just looking at the Overwatch League in general, do you think there's a lack of scouting? Do you think that big names are just teams are looking to get those big names and they overlook some of the lesser known talent just because scouting isn't where it needs to be for most teams?
I mean, marketability for players should only get a team so far, and I think a lot of teams invest way too much into the marketability. But there's a lot of unknown talent out there, and I definitely think teams could do a better job scouting. And I think us and Spitfire are a great example. There's a lot of no-name, rookie players that people really haven't heard of, and people underrate us because of it. And there's definitely some teams that rely too much on the veteran presence,
Yeah. Give us a name. Who's unsigned currently, in those lower ranks or in those amateur leagues that you think, if given the chance on the right system and the right team, could be a player in the Overwatch League?
I don't really have off the top of my head, but I think I used to be on Team Envy, and a lot of those players actually ended up being into the Overwatch League this year. And I think they're all really good players. And I think at the very start, Season 2, not a lot of them got picked up, and I think we all talked about it, and we're like, Season 3 is going to be our year. So I think everybody from Team Envy that I was on, I think they all have a lot of potential to be really good players.
I think all the great teams in sports, esports, have an identity. What's the identity of the Valiant?
Underdogs.
Underdogs?
Yeah, underdogs, for sure. Like I said earlier, people have been rating us really low in the power rankings, counting us out, and just to come out here and beat the home team on the first game, I think it's a big statement. It says we're here to play.
Final question, 2020, new year, new jersey, new colors. Give the fans one promise that what is either McGravy or the Valiant going to do in 2020? Give us one promise.
Win as many games as possible and just, go out there and play as hard as we can every time.
That is the underdog mentality.
Underdog mentality.
To the T. Thank you, McGravy. And if you want more news and highlights, keep it right here at ESPN Esports.